Representative Anna Paulina Luna, a freshman congresswoman from Florida's 13th district, did a smackdown today on Yoel Roth, the former Twitter executive, over his communications with the Department of Homeland Security and many others for censoring free speech of Americans that the Democratic Party didn't like. Folks, in this 4-minute video, this congresswoman sets the stage for indicting Democrats at every level of government for colluding together to get Twitter, the modern day town square, to censor free speech that the Democrats didn't want to get out. From this testimony, the Republicans should be able to prove that the Democrats used Twitter to rig elections. I got the video, and you're going to want to see this because it's beautiful. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel where we're the antidote to the daily onslaught of radical woke Marxist propaganda. So today, Twitter executives who were fired by Elon Musk for un-American activities like censoring free speech, they were being grilled by the House Oversight Committee. And Yoel Roth, the former head of trust and safety at Twitter, translation, he's the guy who came up with ways to censor free speech that the Democratic Party didn't like. So Representative Luna just grilled him, set him up. You got to see it. Ready? Let's take a look.
Mr. Roth, have you communicated with government officials ever on a platform called Jira? Yes or no?
Okay, ready? Jira is a cloud platform that everybody she's talking about created so that they could talk and communicate without anyone knowing what they're doing. They did this to be in privacy.
Real quick answer. We're on the clock.
Not
Yes
to
or
the
no?
best of my recollection.
Not your.
Did you see what she just did? Real quick, we're on the clock. This woman is going to rise through the ranks very quickly in the Republican Party. She's a no BS congresswoman who knows how to work a non-compliant witness during a hearing.
Your recollection? Great. If you did, in the event, communicate, who would have had access to this platform?
See, the reason why Roth is not answering right away, think about this. He's thinking, well, she knows something or she wouldn't be asking the question, right? She probably knows it. And Lyra was something that I was communicating on about censoring free speech that the Democratic Party didn't like. So I have to figure out a way to answer her without getting into trouble.
That's the nature of my confusion.
Okay.
Jira.
That's the nature of my confusion. Look, he gave a Hillary Clinton answer, okay? Not to the best of my recollection. This is what lawyers tell liar clients to say when they answer questions under oath. They say, not to the best of my recollection, because how does someone actually read someone else's mind and say, well, you were lying when you said not to the best of your recollection? So scumbags do this in a way that they have something to hide and they can get away with it, okay? And Representative Luna, she knows this because she's no dummy.
Did you ever speak to government officials on Jira regarding taking down social media posts?
Now, you just know that she knows who would have access to the platform, okay? It appears that this woman does not ask a question she doesn't already know the answer. So here's how he answers.
Again, not to the best of my recollection.
Again, not to the best of my recollection. Unbelievable.
Can you explain to me why the federal government would ever have interest in communicating through Jira, mind you, a private cloud server, with social media companies without oversight to censor American voices? I want to let you know that this is a violation of the First Amendment, and the federal government is colluding with social media companies to censor Americans. Mr. Chairman, I ask for unanimous consent to submit these graphics into record. And Mr. Roth, I'm going to refresh your memory.
Here comes the boom.
For you. This flowchart behind me. Thank you, Chair. This flowchart shows the following federal agencies, social media companies.
Folks, you're not going to believe this. This is absolutely brilliant.
Twitter, leftist nonprofits, and organizations communicating regarding their version of misinformation using Jira, a private cloud server. On this chart, I want to annotate that the Department of Homeland Security, which has the following branches: Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as CISA, Countering Foreign Intelligence Task Force, now known as the
Vijaya Gad is shaking right now. Trust me.
Misinfo, Disinfo, and Malinformation, MDM. This was again used against the American people. The Election Partnership Institute, or Election Integrity Partnership, EIP, which includes the following: Stanford Internet Observatory, University of...
Folks, what you're seeing here are all the people who were working with Twitter to censor free speech that the Democratic Party didn't like. That's what you're seeing. Everything on that board. Look what's up at the top left. DHS.
Washington.
It gets worse than that.
Center for Informed Public, Graphica, and Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab, and potentially, according to what we found on the final report by EIP, the DNC.
Folks, potentially the DNC. That means that the federal government was in collusion with the Democratic National Committee. So the Biden government was colluding with the Democratic Party, which is a private organization, to censor Americans over things that they didn't want to be said in the town square. Now we're going to find out why.
The Center for Internet Security, CIS, a nonprofit funded by DHS, the National Association of Secretaries of State, also known as NAS.
Guys, this shows collusion now between the Democrats, the federal government under the Democrats, and Democrats in states. Are you kidding? Folks, I don't care where you're coming from. This is a bombshell. So in other words, these people were privately colluding on a private cloud server, okay, that included the federal government, the Department of Homeland Security, okay, Mayorkas's group, right? So it included them, the DNC, and secretaries of state. Now, why would they include secretaries of state? Because secretaries of state do what? What do they do? What do they do? They run elections. They're in charge of elections. Unbelievable. Guys, this is a bombshell.
SS and the National Association of State Election Directors, NASED. And in this case, because there are other social media companies involved, Twitter. What do all of these groups, though, have in common?
Folks, what do all these groups have in common? They created a private cloud server so that they could communicate in private.
And I'm going to, again, refresh your memory. They were all communicating on a private cloud server known as Jira. Now, the screenshot behind me, which is an example of one of thousands, shows on November 3rd, 2020, that you, Mr. Roth...
Think about what she just revealed, folks. Congresswoman Luna has revealed that the federal government was scheming with the Democratic Party and with state officials, mainly secretaries of state. Okay? That's what she just revealed. Now, when he said, to the best of my recollection, I don't remember, right? Now she has on the right side, she has another chart that shows his communications that are part of the question that she asked him earlier that he said he didn't know.
A Twitter employee were exchanging communications on Jira, a private cloud server, with CISA, NASS, NASED, and Alex Stamos, who now works at Stanford and is a former security officer at Facebook, to remove a posting. Do you now remember communicating on a private cloud server to remove a posting?
So, do you now remember? So she went through all that to get past the bullshit line, to the best of my recollection, I don't know. That's what she did. So now she had to, see, this is what you got. You only have a limited amount of time. So she had to go through all that and set him up. She asked him the question. He said, I don't know, which is basically a denial.
Yes or no?
I wouldn't agree with the characterization.
I don't care if you agree.
I don't care if you agree. In other words, she's saying yes or no. Did you? It's right there. So the scumbag doesn't want to admit what's right in front of him. Folks, if we lived in an honest and just world, all of these assholes would be in prison for what they did.
This is your stuff. Yes or no, did you communicate with...
They changed the course of history by scheming elections through censoring free speech via the accusations of misinformation and disinformation. And here's the biggest FU of all. They pushed through, while censoring free speech, they pushed misinformation and disinformation.
With a private entity, the government agency, on a private cloud server, yes or no?
The question was if I...
Yes or no? Yeah, I'm on time. Yes or no?
Ma'am, I don't believe I can give you a yes or no.
Well,
answer
I'm
to
going
that
to tell you right now that you did, and we have proof of it.
There she goes. I love this woman already. I'm going to tell you right now, you did, and we have proof of it. So you just lied.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is joint action between the federal government and a private company to censor and violate the First Amendment. This is also known, and I'm so glad that there's many.
Folks, joint state actors means that if a private company works with the government, they are now a part of the state because they are acting on behalf of the government. I've been saying this for the longest time, that if Twitter did this on behalf of the federal government, then they censored free speech. We got all these soy boy leftists out there that are saying, it's a private company, man, so they can do whatever they want. And that's because soy boy leftists usually have their heads buried straight up their ass.
Many attorneys on this panel, joint state actors. It's highly illegal. You are all engaged in this action, and I want you to know that you will be all held accountable.
God bless her.
Miss Gaddy, are you still on CISA's Cybersecurity Advisory Council? Yes or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh, folks. Oh, she went after Vijay Gaddy, who was the chief architect of how to censor free speech on Twitter that the Democratic Party didn't like. Oh, so the question is she still an officer at one of the organizations that was working with Twitter and the DHS and all the other criminals involved? So she worked with Twitter. She gets fired from Twitter. She goes over to this other organization that was working with Twitter in order to censor people. My God, these people are monsters.
Those who have said that this is a pointless hearing, and I just want to let you guys all know, we found that Twitter was indeed...
Right now, she's talking to the Democrats who said that this was a pointless hearing. Pointless? This woman just proved that there was collusion between Joe Biden's Department of Homeland Security, Twitter, all these other leftist organizations, and secretaries of states in blue states.
Communicating with the federal government to censor Americans. I'd like to remind you that this was all in place before January 6th. So to say that these mechanisms weren't in place and to make it about January 6th, I want to let you know that you guys were actually in control of all of the content, and clearly we have
absolutely
that. Now, if you don't think that this is important to your constituents and the American people from those saying that this was a pointless hearing, I suggest you find other jobs. Chairman, I yield my time.
Unbelievable. Can I go on record right now and say that I love this Congresswoman? I see a bright future for her in politics because she doesn't take shit from anyone. Okay, so here we have in this one 4-minute clip, this woman just nailed the top people in the trust and safety department at Twitter who were violating conservatives' free speech. These people censored enough that they changed the course of history. There's no doubt about it. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for spending this time with us. We'll see you in the next one.